Welcome back to camp, my friends. Today we are in or at one of my local campgrounds, not too far from where I live, and I'm just gonna be doing a campground camp out tonight. No more, well, not no more, but no primitive and no stealth camping tonight. Just wanted to actually get out here and try my hand again at catching a fish on video to actually have you guys see it and maybe get some video proof that I actually can catch fish. So I booked this spot because we've got the water right down below here. So I'm hoping that I can take my kayak maybe down this trail or something and hopefully get some easy access. Ironically, in the last truck camper video I made talking about my fishing setup and improving that, I showed you guys my kayak, and that was the last time I ever saw that kayak. I actually went and found this one, and I'll give you a closer look at it because I've done some modifications to it to make it better for fishing. But I actually ended up selling that one and buying this one on just Facebook Marketplace. So I actually got this kayak, which is like, I think brand new is like $300 or $400. So I bought this one for like $130 and I sold mine for $130. So even trade off, and I got in my opinion, a way better kayak. So I'll show you what this looks like. I haven't totally finished modifying it and making it what I want, but this is a, what is it called? Lifetime Kenai. It's a 10-foot sit on top kayak. So my other one was a sit within, and this is a sit on top. And it didn't really look like this when I bought it. I basically bought new bungee cord and redid all the bungees around. The normal bungees actually go, you can maybe see that hole underneath this D-ring or this ring, but the knots come off, and then because this is a sit on top kayak, there's no way to reach my hand and actually reset it. So I ended up adding these little D-rings here, or whatever you want to call them, to basically be able to recreate the setup for the bungee. So I've got the life jacket paddle back here. I also added 2 rod holders, which this kayak didn't have any. So 2 rod holders, 1 on each side, pretty dang handy. And then it actually has this little eyelid here, and so I just put my rod leash right on that, so that way it'll reach here or here depending on which side, or if I wanted to add a second leash for a second rod, I could do that. Replace the bungee here. I do like this setup a lot more, the sit on top, because then I have this hatch watertight little storage area, which is very nice. I'll get to this next because it's my favorite part. And then just redid the bungee up here, so I've got my DIY cement-filled PVC anchor, the buoy, some tackle, and actually the best part of this was it came with a seat that usually like latches here and then hooks onto these little things on either side, but I got rid of that and I found this stadium seat at Academy Sports and used basically the same little eyelids here and then 2 on the back, with just zip ties to keep the seat adhered. And now I have just a much more comfortable sit on top. And I did take this out once, and it's more tippy than my old kayak where I sat down a lot lower, but it's really not bad at all. And the comfort is well worth the extra little bit of tippiness. And the cool thing is, I usually keep my tackle right under here, so it's a lot easier to get to, and I don't have to like reach all the way up here to grab it. I just put this all up here for basically transport. I do still need to add an anchor trolley to the side, but I'll do that another time. That way I can move my anchor back and forth depending on which way I want to rotate. But yeah, gonna take this thing out onto the river in a little bit and see if we can't catch some fish. Tonight in the fridge, I brought, not gonna be able to see it, I got some steaks, potatoes, green beans, and it's gonna be a pretty straightforward, easy meal. I do need to go fill up my water container. I think the lady was saying over at this site, somewhere over there is a water fill up, so I'll go do that real quick. pretty easy breezy spot. Got the truck there. Bathrooms are right there, so pretty dang convenient. And definitely a bit of a change up being in a campground with bathrooms right next to me. Picnic table and all that from the Colorado trip where all we did was primitive camp. So kind of nice. Changing it up a little bit. And look at that. I have a place to put my water container. Perfect. I think the first order of business now that, truck camp is set up, it's very simple. First order of business is to take a peek down here, see if I can get my kayak launched somewhere down one of these trails. Not a terribly far walk to bring the kayak down. This might be a little bit steep. Yeah, it's a little steep, but it could work. And then this side, yeah, this side will probably be the ticket. Just a little bit more of a walk-in type situation. Nice. Clean that up for somebody. So we'll bring the kayak down here. If you guys did miss that video during the Colorado trip, my biggest complaint was where to put my fishing pole. So actually added these two little, I think they're called like fist clamps, to the side of the GFC frame, and holds my 2-piece rod perfectly. Keeps everything from getting mashed up while I'm driving. And nice, cheap, easy little modification. I did totally space on charging my gear, so I've got the camera batteries and GoPro and my fan charging up on the Anchor Solix. So hopefully in like 30-45 minutes we'll be good to go and we can hit the water in the new kayak. All right, well, batteries are charged up enough. We're gonna hit the water, see if we can't get on some fish. And there's this bay area here, but I already scoped it out. It looks really grassy, so I'm gonna paddle my way around this kind of peninsula into the next spot. But rod, tackle, paddle, got it. All right, and in we go. Let's see if we can't push this around here. Might be easier to get in over here. There we go. Get this seat kicked up. Oh, still getting used to all the tolerances and whatnot of this new kayak. Grab our paddle. So I already kind of scoped out this whole area here, and it's very, very grassy. So the plan is to go around this bend, and I was looking on Google Maps, and supposedly there is another little peninsula like this that I'm hoping is less grassy. But I think worst case scenario, once we get out a little bit, it'll be a lot easier to find some deeper water where we might find some bass. Even if it's off the tip of this peninsula here. I should probably not have my phone in my pocket, just in case. Just toss that in there. There we go. And then just in case I tip, I'll just hook the anchor up to that latch. And that way I don't lose my anchor. Looks like there might be a fishable spot over here. Have to play it by ear. So I'm just about on the edge of this peninsula, and I'm gonna paddle out a little bit further because I'm kind of curious how deep it might be here. I'm wondering if we can get some bass. So I'm gonna unhook the anchor. And this was like a DIY project I did years ago, just with a little buoy on it. That way I can, if I get hooked up on a fish, I can unleash the anchor to go catch the fish and come back, because this guy will float. So let's see how far down this is. Before we get too close to shore, I might have to paddle backwards a bit. Yeah, just filled this thing up with cement, put a couple end caps on it, and it does the trick for less than 20 bucks. All right, let's see how deep we're working with. Still going. All right, it's about, I would say 10 or 12 feet. Not great, but way better than where I was at. So since I don't have my trolley line set up, normally I would have a trolley line for my anchor that goes this way. That way I can, let me get this hooked up. That way I can basically pull it and move the anchor to the front or to the rear of the boat, depending on which way I want to face. But we'll give this a whirl, see what happens. Just get our paddle all situated. And for right now, at least, I'll probably switch to a bigger worm here, but I've just got a little worm with a couple tails on it. See if we can't get lucky. I have probably 20 to 30 feet of line here, and obviously the anchor doesn't hold well if it's just pointed straight down, but you can see like it's out over there now. And so once you start pulling all that line, it starts to like drag along the bottom, and eventually will kind of hook you on something. Or at least, you know, I find even on windy days, like today's not windy at all, but I am on the Tennessee River, so wake is a thing and current is a thing. But even on windy days, best case scenario or worst case scenario, it slows you down and just doesn't have you going quite as far. I can already tell I probably want to put a bigger worm on here so it sinks a bit faster, because I'm not using any weights. This is, probably can't tell on camera, but the wake of these boats and these jet skis and stuff will be a good determination of how sturdy this, or how tippy this sit on top kayak is. Right now I feel totally fine. It doesn't feel any worse than my last kayak, and I really enjoy this setup a lot because, one, my rod, like I'm not up here with my shoulders trying to like get up and over the kayak, because the kayak, I'm sitting on top of it, if that makes sense. So it's a lot more comfortable to paddle, it's a lot more comfortable to fish, and then getting the fish is, I used this the other day and I caught a couple bass. Getting the fish in the boat is a lot easier too. So far, big fan. So I am going to toss on a bigger worm, so it sinks a little faster and moves a little bit nicer in this rougher water. Also love the fact that I have this under the seat storage. That is freaking clutch. I don't know if I want to go super big. This guy's ready to call it the end of its days. We'll use this one. Pull this guy off. I've been using this hook and worm setup since like high school. I never run a weight. I know it would definitely help things sink faster, but it's just what I'm used to. Get it up and over this little ledge in the hook right there, and then you just figure out where the hook's gonna lay and you stab it in there, pull it to the other side. Then if you lift the worm and just kind of set it over the hook, keeps you from snagging a bit. And then we can go back under the seat, super easy. And let's see what we can get. definitely a lot easier to fish something a bit, or cast something a bit heavier. Bait wise, where those kayaks are over there, I was also thinking that might be a good spot. That little cove, I don't know if it's as grassy as this one is, but could try this area or even that peninsula over here. And we've probably got another, I don't know, 2 hours of light before we really got to get back. And I guess for my own mental note, I am across the way from that tan RV. So while I'm sitting here not catching anything, kind of walk you guys through my thought process with swapping out my kayaks. So the other one I had, the green one that you guys saw in my fishing mod for the GFC video, that one is obviously you sit down in the kayak and then the hull is hollow. And I already kind of mentioned why I like the sitting position of this one more. But also I feel like this one is going to be a lot more modifiable. Is that a word? Moddable. Let me know down in the comments. But essentially, I could add things like a trolling motor to this. And because I'm so upright, you know, I could potentially build something to have a trolling motor on the back. I could potentially put a trolling motor right here. And then, you know, maybe put the battery in this little hatch down here or something. But I feel like the opportunities with this style kayak are a lot greater than the kayak I had. So when I saw this one pop up on Facebook, I was like, okay, if I can get it for $130, he wanted I think it was $150, and it came with some like roof rack kayak or racks, basically like Yakima kayak racks. I didn't need it because I have my truck. So I was like, how would you say about $130 for just the kayak, no Yakima racks? And he took the bait, no pun intended. And then I sold my kayak. That gave me some wiggle room to sell mine, and ended up breaking even for $130 and sold it. I also got 2 paddles out of this kayak. He sold me this one and a second paddle. So I would say a win-win-win for me, to be honest with you. And I'm not even done modifying this thing. I think soon I'm going to put the actual anchor trolley on this, probably on the other side, so that way it's not on the same side that I store my paddle, just to keep things a little bit cleaner. But I just think this kayak is going to serve me better for a longer period of time. And couldn't pass it up with an even trade. Or not a trade, but, you know, buy and sell for an even amount of money. Well, not having any luck at this spot, so I'm going to toss this guy back in here. I lost my last fishing pole in a very similar fashion to this, so I'm always nervous about that. I'm going to go over to the other side of this little peninsula here, but I wanted to show you real quick how the anchor works, the little DIY PVC tube or PVC pipe anchor. So let's say I got a fish on and it was like over here and pulling me this way, and I didn't want to add the extra drag of the anchor. I could unhook it from here, basically let go of that, and then now the kayak is free. I can go catch the fish. And then once the fish is all dealt with, all I got to do is paddle back over to my buoy, which stays on top like that. Grab it out of the water without tipping. Oh, there we go. And pull this end in, and then it's as, oh, maybe not tangle this up. Then it's as easy as just pulling in the anchor. Super easy. So I love doing DIY things, and this was a really fun, oh yeah, and I took some like metal hinge, I don't even know what that's called, some basically metal, and sunk the screws in before the cement dried, so that way I have this nice sturdy tie down point. And I've had I've had this anchor now for probably 7 to 8 years, and I've never changed the line on it. I've never changed the buoy, never changed the carabiner. It just works great. So we're gonna go up and around this neck of shoreline here and see if we can't get into a calmer area with hopefully no grass. I'm not really sure which way the current's going. I could possibly just fish all of this right here as I'm going, assuming the current's going the right way. Try and get under that tree. It'd be nice if I was facing the other way. I think the current is going the way I want. However, I'm facing the wrong way. I want to be fishing the shoreline here. Just do a little U-turn. Few more casts, no bites. So I'm gonna just stick to the plan and figure out how far I gotta go and hopefully find this next little inlet off the river. Still got plenty of time. Daylight, I mean. When we get back to the truck, if I didn't already mention it, I'm cooking up some steak, potatoes, some green beans. However, slightly concerned that I forgot to bring the salt and pepper, and also not confident that I have a can opener as well as I have a cast iron pan, I know for sure, but I'm not confident if I have a pot to actually warm up the green beans in. I guess I do have the electric kettle I could use because I'm not starving for battery. So should be a good tasty dinner, and then tomorrow morning I have like 3 steaks, so I'm gonna eat 1 or 2 tonight and then eat the rest of it in the morning with a couple eggs, some bread perhaps, some sourdough. Hopefully we can catch a freaking fish because I've never caught one on my channel. I'm just never filming a video when I'm out. Like, I fish almost every night during the summer, and I do catch a bunch of fish, but it's never like a truck camping video. So, like, I guess let me know down in the comments, would you guys enjoy just no truck camping and just, getting out on a kayak? Because I have a little honey hole not too far from where I live that I just catch bass much more frequently out of. And I could make a video like that, or basically like this. It just wouldn't be any truck camping. It would just be fishing. So I don't want to stray too far from what the channel's about. But at the same time, if you guys have been following the channel for a while, my channel name used to be called Elevated Media. And I was doing mainly like Stancy car, like JDM car mods. I had a BMW F30 for a while. I was doing like lowered car stuff. Definitely no camping, and when I decided I wanted to do some more camping type stuff, it kind of opened my eyes to the fact that I wanted to rename the channel to just my name, so that way as I grow as a person, my interests change, things of that nature. The channel is not tied to any specific topic per se. It's very automotive based. I'm not going to get around that, but the truck camping thing was definitely not part of this channel. Wow, the more I get around this, the better this looks. It should calm down a lot more in there, and it looks way deeper and less shallow than how it was over there. And I don't see any boats, any people swimming. This might be a good little fishing hole. So we're just gonna fish this for a bit. Definitely largemouth, probably, smallmouth. There's pike, there's catfish, there's, I see a fish right there. Little ones. That's a good sign that, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking and start fishing. It's a terrible cast. deer. I don't know if you can see it, but he's right at the edge of the lawn over there. There are a ton of deer in this campground that I'm in this area. And they're so, like, people feed them. Oh, he just jumped again. People feed the deer all the time, so they're like, if you slow your car down while you're driving by, they will literally just, like, come up to you because they're so used to people feeding them. Guys, we're gonna catch a fish. Come on. First one on the channel. I'm gonna cast right where this guy's been jumping. Oh, that was a bite. Come on. Oh, that might have been a fish. I feel like he was snagged on a rock. No way. I might switch back to the smaller worm. I find that when you use a worm that's too big, a lot of the time they'll eat the back of the worm, like the bottom end of it, and they'll totally miss the hook. Maybe it's just a rock. So when you go to set the hook, it just pulls the bottom end of the worm right out of their mouth, and you miss it. Yeah, I'm gonna try the smaller guy again. Now that we're in a lot calmer water. I will say having my tackle box right here, so much nicer. Okay, well, it's been close to probably 40 minutes. Tried crankbait, a few different worms. No luck. So might make this last cast here and then head back over to where the campground or campsite is and fish that little nook that's off of the other nook. Initially where I saw those other kayakers or paddle boarders, whatever you want to call it, because I'm seeing action, but they're not wanting what I'm throwing. And I swear, it's every time I try and film a video where I incorporate fishing, I get absolutely no action. It's crazy. So, like, oh my gosh, they're popping everywhere, jumping and popping, and I just can't seem to give them what they want. So, all right, I'm gonna reel this boy in. And we're going to head back towards camp and fish that last spot that I haven't tried yet. Hope for the best. So camp is that way. We're going to try and fish this little bit here as our last ditch effort to catch fish. You would think in all these little calm coves, though, surrounded by logs and branches, giving the bass a lot of cover, a lot of protection, you'd think they would be flourishing in here. Maybe I'm just throwing the wrong bait, but my tried and trusted Texas rig usually works. It may not be the best, but at least it gets a little action, and I'm just not getting anything. So last effort is to fish this little hole here. See what we can get onto. Oh, my worm is, oh boy. Okay, good start. Please let me get a fish. So I'm trying to cast right along this log, because again, I feel like the fish would like a little bit of coverage versus just open water. And I'm basically just doing like a twitch, let it sit, reel it in, twitch, let it sit, reel it in. Pretty slow pace. Well, folks, I got no explanation. I have fished for probably close to 2.5 hours. I had one bite, one little nibble, and that was it. So I think I'm going to hang it up here, enjoy the rest of this beautiful sunset out on the water, and yeah, I got no explanation for this. It's crazy. I'm seeing the action around the water, but I'm just not having any luck putting any of them on the end of this hook. So I will cut my losses and simply enjoy the rest of this beautiful sunset on the Tennessee River. All right, well, fishing turned out about as well as it always does on this channel. 0 fish, 0 action. It's getting pretty old, to be honest with you. Go fishing all the time and catch fish, and every time I turn on the camera or try and include it in a YouTube video, it just doesn't happen for me. So cut my losses with that, and I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking on dinner. So I gotta get this bin out of here because I'm not trying to be jumping in the truck every time I need something. And that is definitely, you know, one thing I want to improve upon is the storage situation. And now that like I'm doing it, you really do need like the kitchen drawer, like my old wooden build out to get around this. But anyways, problem for another day. For now, we're on to some steak. So we'll break out the old 2-burner, green canister of gas, grab the utensils, the cast iron, and you know, I actually might be able to get away with one of these stainless steel little tins here for the green beans. And then I actually do happen to have my pepper and my salt, so win-win. And yeah, time to cook up some dinner. So we'll get started here on chopping up some potatoes, just because those are going to take a bit longer to actually cook than the steak. Let's get those little knobby things off of there. I'll just toss them right in. Okay, last of the potatoes are going in. And we'll go ahead and salt and pepper these bad boys. And then we're going to throw a fair bit of butter in there, just because butter up the potatoes, and then also be cooking the steak in the same bit eventually. So let's get this cranking. There we go. Now, moment of truth. Do I have a can opener? I'm not entirely sure that I do. It's not looking good, folks. I have a knife and I could like, that's such a bummer. So there's a trick. Yeah, you really need like a spoon to do it. And you rub the outside rim of this, and then you can like pop it. We're gonna grab our steak. Pretty hungry, so I'm gonna eat this guy and this guy. And we'll save this one for the morning. Toss it into the old grocery bag. Save that for tomorrow. And I really don't feel like manhandling these green beans, so tonight's going to be more of a carnivore diet with just some steak and potatoes. Oh, that's a lot of pepper. Okay. Lay that on there. Should be good with those. We just got our steak doing their thing. So probably do like 2 minutes per side on these. Keep the potatoes rocking and rolling. There you have it. Potatoes, steak. Easy peasy. Wish I had some greens, but we'll do without tonight. Just like the fish. Little steak and potatoes for camp tonight. See how we did. You know, it's cheap steak. Not great. Not terrible either. A little salt and pepper though. That's all you need. Oh, what a pairing. Also a pairing. Peep the sunset. That's lovely. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this feast. I'll catch you guys after dinner. Just utilized the camp showers, got all cleaned up, got the fan running because it's incredibly hot and humid, and I'm gonna hit the hay. Bummer we didn't catch any fish. Might go back out tomorrow morning and see if I can't have some more luck. But I'll tucked away up in the GFC, top floor, and I'll see you guys in the morning. Good night. In my yellow container of everything. I feel like a Mary Poppins bag where I just pull out exuberant amounts of stuff, but I'm gonna break out the Stoke kettle pot. Also gonna need my coffee bean grinder and the power cord for the stove. This actually is supposed to be on my coffee grinder. And I think that is it, my friends. I don't know if I have a mug. Wait. I can burn my hands on a stainless steel cup. In the fridge, got some Mad Priest Mocha Java coffee. Cherry, dark chocolate, smooth, whole bean. So I'm actually gonna get this filled up with water first and get this cranking so that way by the time I'm done grinding the beans, hopefully the water will be ready. My power station back here, so we're gonna rock with that. It is currently at 42% and it's already taken in 34 watts, but I'm in a pretty shady spot, so the panel is not getting a whole lot of sun right now. Just get this plugged into the power bank. It's turned on, and there we go. Now we roll this water and we grind the beans. I've had a few different bags of Mad Priest coffee. It is one of my local favorites here in town. Probably, I'm not doing a massive pot of coffee, so that should be plenty. All their coffee is just really good. You can get it if you go to their shop. You can get it in whole bean, or if you want, they can grind it up for you at different, basically at different levels of fine to coarse. You kind of tell them how you prepare your coffee, whether it's in a pour over, or if you do a French press or whatever. They will actually grind the coffee to different textures that are most beneficial to that style of coffee making. So that's kind of cool. I like that they put in the extra effort. And then they give you the instructions on, depending on how you're making your coffee, how much to put in and all that good stuff. Even like what the water temp should be at, which is kind of crazy. So good coffee is en route, and not too much to pack up today. When I go camping, truck camping, it's awesome because everything just obviously fits in the truck, but also breakdown, and when I get to camp to set up is just so fast and easy. So thoroughly enjoy it. I think our water is in fact ready. Woo! That could have been bad. Just get this unplugged. And toss our coffee in. Simple as that. Coffee grinder goes back in where it should have been in the first place. And just kind of stir that up a little bit and just let this sit on top. And then after, I usually do like 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere in that time range. And then I'll press the French press down. And we'll be on to drinking some coffee. While we're waiting for this coffee to finish up, I'm gonna start getting, get the GFC all closed up. Pulled all the bedding out, packed it up, and just like that, the tent is broken down. Sometimes you gotta lift it back up just to get all the fabric nicely inside. A little bit poking out here. But once you're good, just latch it down. Pretty hard to beat the simplicity of that versus dealing with like 10 stakes, 10 poles, a tent, a rain fly, all that stuff. Very blessed to have this thing in my life. And I would say now our coffee should be good. It's been about 4 minutes. Compress that. And we'll put it in this cup, which is most certainly gonna burn my hand and my lips. But hey. Oh, steam. Woo. Okay. There we go. Good enough. And we'll just toss out that little bit that's remaining, but I'm not gonna touch this for a while because, ow, yes, it's very hot. And now with camp all put back together, truck is warming up, I'm gonna sign off here. So I appreciate you all for coming out and hanging out on this camping trip. And I won't call it a fishing trip because I didn't catch anything, but I tried. And I will continue to try in the future. So if you guys have any tips, lures you like, fishing tips or tricks that you have found to work, especially if you're trying out a new body of water like I was, let me know down in the comments. And with that being said, love you all. Oh, and comment where you're watching from. I always like to find out. Love you all. Keep elevating, my friends. Adios.